Hey, 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 what is up? What's happening? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's rock and roll. Super excite. All right. Happy Monday. Excited to be on here. Got our new sweater alert. Gratitude. You. All right. All right. Drop me a comment. Let me know that you're on here. And maybe I'll give away something. What should I give away? Why don't I, for tonight, why don't I give away some of our social media book? How's that? How you like that? So let's do that. I'll give away some copies of our social media book. So if you'd like to possibly win, just click that share button, drop the like button, and then drop me a comment that you shared. I'll pick a few peeps to get a social media book. We'll ship out to you. Let's see. There we go. All right. Nikki, yeah, what's up, Josie? All right. So if you click that share button, drop me a comment that you shared, and you could possibly win one of our social media books. We'll ship it out to you. This has, I forget how many. I mean, this has so many. I need to check it. I haven't checked in a little bit. I'm going to check the reviews on this. And social media. This has over 1,200 reviews. Most of them good. All right, so let's pick some peeps. Okay. All right. Nikki Natvig gets one of our social media books. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Shamika Carter, Vanessa Ragland, Robin Forster, and let's pick one more. So if you're just hopping on, if you want to possibly win one of our social media books, just click that share button, drop me a comment that you shared. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I'll talk about the sweatshirt here in a second. So if you're on here, all right. And then Melanie Becknell Boudreau gets a social media book. So if I said your name, shoot an email to support@higdongroup.com, and maybe I'll give away some more. Sometimes I remember, sometimes I don't, to be honest. But tonight, we're going to be talking about how to become a top earner in network marketing. I'm going to share with you a little bit different take from this morning, just in case you're on with me this morning. This morning at 9 a.m., I did a similar, or maybe even the same title, I'm not sure. But I shared a little bit different perspective this morning. Tonight, I'm going to share a little bit different perspective. And so speaking of the sweater, tonight is actually the last chance to get the sweater, our gratitude sweater. Can you read that? The quality of being thankful, readiness to show appreciation for and to return kindness. How cool is that? That's a cool definition. But if you would like to get the sweater, we also have it in shirts, and we have a discount if you do decide to get two, like the men and the women's, or two of the same. I believe that works. It's at higdongroup.com/swag. But again, I believe tonight is the final chance to grab it. And it's super, super comfy. If you've gotten any of our stuff, you know we use high quality stuff. And so if you would like this, it's higdongroup.com/swag. higdongroup.com/swag. All right. So this morning, just a quick, let me see if I can do a recap. I've been on so many different meetings and so many different things. And by the way, my daughter just melted my heart. And oh my goodness, Ryan Drac Attack. I haven't seen you in a long time, bro. Drac Attack. My daughter just like melted my heart. So I just put her to bed in the other room. And so I'm like, all right, Daddy's got to work. Give me a kiss. And so I gave her a kiss on the cheek, and she said, that's not my lips. And I said, "That's okay. I love every part of you." And then as I'm walking toward the door, she goes, "I love every part of you too." And I'm like, "Aw." And then she goes, "Don't say aw." So she melted my heart, but then also kept me in line. So it was perfect. And so, all right. So let's talk about this morning. So this morning, I talked about how if you seek acceptance, approval, and agreement, you're going to get knocked out of the game. It probably knocks out 30% of people. Like I seriously believe 1 out of 3 people that join network marketing that could have made it happen get knocked out of the game because they seek acceptance, approval, and agreement. I would say another 10% get knocked out because they don't have the capacity to withstand the haters, the trolls. Like if they post on YouTube or TikTok or Facebook or whatever, they just can't handle the negativity. And I mentioned this I think last week, but it's interesting. If you get a job at the general store, people are like, "Yay, way to go, buddy!" Where there's zero chance of you ever creating time freedom or ever becoming wealthy or a whole lot of anything, right? People will cheer you on. But when you join something like network marketing, you're going to get all of a sudden they're financial experts and they're, career guidance counselors, and they're going to tell you how terrible of a decision you made. And so I would say 30% of potential top earners get knocked out of the game because they seek acceptance, approval, and agreement. Another 10% get knocked out because they just can't handle the negativity, the trolls, the people that they act like they're getting paid to drop negative comments, right? They're not, but it sure seems like that would make sense. The world would make sense if people were getting paid for negative comments. And you're like, oh, okay, you're getting paid for this. Okay, great, but they ain't. Right? They're just got all the time in the world to just troll on somebody. And then another thing that will prevent someone from becoming a top earner, and this is just recap from this morning because we went pretty hard this morning. Another thing that will prevent someone becoming a top earner is they go too quickly into management mode. So they recruit, they get a few team, they got 5 people, 10 people, 20 people, whatever number of people on the team, and all of a sudden they go into management mode. They stop doing what was bringing people on board, and they start directing traffic and start saying, "Go do this," and I'm managing you guys, and and that, as I explained, that works if you're an employer, right? If you're an employer, and my example I used this morning was if you own a pool company and you want to hire some salespeople, you don't necessarily have to go in the field and sell. You can hire someone and say, "Go sell this thing and I'll pay you," and pay them, some kind of, salary and commission, and that's fine. Doesn't work that way in network marketing. People want to see you doing the work that you're asking them to do. And if you're not, often they won't do the work. And so too many people get into management mode too quickly. So let's talk about at least 2 more things that will prevent you from reaching your potential and from really getting into 6 figures and beyond. And that's what's incredible about network marketing is, although most businesses have a fairly realistic cap on how much money you can make. A restaurant, typically there's a cap to how much profit you can possibly make with a restaurant. I mean, yes, you could open up chains and spread and take on more risk and more overhead. But usually there's a cap, like by restaurant. And this is why you see people that will buy multiple, like Domino's franchises or whatever. And the example I used this morning is if you want a Domino's franchise, it's $250,000 to start. And they tell you it's a 10-year return on investment, which means at the end of 10 years, you'll make your first profit. Now, if you told that to people about network marketing, hey, it's whatever, $1,000 to join, $500 to join. But at the end of 10 years, you'll get you'll start making some profit. People say you're nuts. They'd be like, "What? Get the hell out of here." But that would be a better deal. It'd be a better deal because it's less risk. It's less overhead. It's less, I'm not having to come up with 250,000. I got to come up with 500, start making a profit in the same time period. Better deal. Very simple. Very simple. And so what are some other things that will prevent you from reaching, six figures and beyond? Number one is if you put your own spin on something that's already scalable to make it non-scalable. So network marketing is scalable. So if you let's say you have a TikTok and you're talking about whatever product you got. I don't have any props, but let's say okay. So let's say this is your product. It's a shampoo, or it's a weight loss, or whatever, right? Or it's a antenna. So whatever. So this is your product, and let's say you do a TikTok and you do something goofy, and all of a sudden it goes viral. It gets 2 million views, and you have 4,000 people purchase the product. Okay. Well, if it's not network marketing and you're making these custom clothes hangers in your basement, then you got a problem. You got an issue, because can you make 4,000 of these things? Probably not. You're probably going to have to enlist people. You'll run out of supplies. You don't have the little twisty things, right? If you're making almond butter cookies and all of a sudden your video goes viral and you got 20,000 cookies sold, you're probably going to scramble. You're probably going to screw that up. You're going to fumble the ball. But no network marketing company I'm aware of. I mean, sometimes there's temporary inventory issues, so grant you that. But outside of those temporary kind of things, if you have a video go viral and all of a sudden 4,000 people buy your product, the company will handle that for you, and they'll handle paying you, even if you don't interact with those customers. Now, I'm not saying not to. I'm not saying don't you dare interact with them. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying even if you suck at communicating with customers, but you just happen to have a viral video, you're scaled. You're going to be fine, right? They'll be able to contact support. The company will ship out the product. It'll be fine, right? If you have a opportunity video go viral, and all of a sudden you have 1,000 new distributors, can the company handle it? Most companies can. Again, if you are, making little boxes and you're sending out, things, then you get 1,000 orders. You're kind of scrambling, like, what do I do here, right? But you can break that model. So what you could do is you could come up with a requirement that every person that joins your team has to get X amount of hours from you. That would be one way to break it. So you could say, okay, every personal recruit, I'm going to spend at least 2 hours with them on Zoom. And that's what I'm going to do, because that's what I think is going to help them succeed. And so now you don't realize that whatever you do for your team, they think they have to do. And by you spending 2 hours with each individual rep, what do they think they have to do with anyone they recruit? Spend 2 hours. What don't they want to do? Spend 2 hours. They're doing this part-time. And so you can break this model by adding your own flavor to the scalable business and saying, okay, each rep gets, X amount of time. And then what will happen is you will start to dread growth. You'll start to think, like some people, I ask them, hey, what would happen if you added 100 reps tomorrow? I'm telling you right now, if they're being honest, most people, their systems, they're not set up to do that. So they'll be like, oh man, well, it'd be awesome commission wise, of course. But man, I would really, it'd really be a bad time to bring on 100. It should never be a bad time to bring on 100, 1,000, 10,000. You should have systems that are put into place that when someone joins, send them a little email, says, here's the fast start, here's the group, go through these things, let's connect, happy to connect with you. But it's not some humongous amount of pressure on you or time commitment. If you equate amount of personal time by however many reps I recruit, then you're breaking the model. You're doing this in a way that's going to break the model, and eventually you will dread growth because what happens is you start, people start coming in and you're spending all this time with them, but you're, a lot of them aren't succeeding. They're not making money. And you're like, oh, I must be doing something wrong. So I need to up my training. So you'll up your training. You start doing more training. You go into more management mode and you see fewer people, because as soon as you enter management mode, you're decreasing the production of your team. Your team is going to follow your example and say, oh, he's not recruiting, and she's not recruiting. She's not bringing in new customers. So, right. And so you're actually, as you up your training and management, you're going to see it lower. Now, some people would argue this and say, well, Ray, you're a trainer, dude. Like, should you not be training so much? There's a difference. There's a difference between the upline and an outside trainer. I am an outside trainer. Now, a lot of times I'm brought into a company. Like right now, I'm training 2 different companies. I'm doing company calls for them every month. And, but I'm not teaching them to be me. I'm teaching them to succeed in that company. Very different. Now, as an upline, that can't be removed. Whatever you do for the team, they think they have to do. And if you're overtraining them and over managing them, they don't want to do that. They don't have that kind of time. And so you're taking something that's extremely scalable and breaking it. You're like, how do I break this thing? Now, the other part, which I've talked about a lot over the last few months, is the emotional part. Is what conclusion are you drawing to success? So some people, as soon as they start to see success, they increase their sabotage, because based on a past observation, they've drawn the wrong conclusion to success. So they either draw it as not safe, they draw it as, perhaps through influence of Hollywood and politicians and whatever else, maybe they see making lots of money as unethical, immoral, right? I just saw, and I always bring this up because more people need to talk about it. And this isn't political left, right. This is just straight economics. Someone just said, tax Elon Musk. And the perfect reply was, what? So the government could use it so efficiently? ? Right? There's too much battle for this person needs to pay more taxes, and there's too little talk. And this is left, right, Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, whatever, right? So there's too much talk of this person needs to pay more taxes and not enough scrutiny on how are they being spent, because it doesn't matter. Do you know if Elon sold like billions of dollars of Tesla stock, he could successfully, that profit in taxes could run the government for 7 hours. Maybe it's how it's spent. But anyway, I digress. And so, you have to look at, what does success mean to you? And if there's a negative connotation, if your parents were successful, but they ignored you, and you have kids, it's very common for you to draw the conclusion that with success, I'm just going to ignore my kids. And I don't want to do that. I'd do anything to not ignore my kids because I didn't like how I felt. Right. And so, that's something you got to learn and perhaps unlearn. That's something that you have to realize, that with success, you just get more choices. Doesn't mean you have to ignore. Doesn't mean, it doesn't mean that, it's not possible, right? Could you succeed and ignore your kids? Yeah, for sure. Could you not succeed and ignore your kids? Yes. But with success, with more money, you do have more choices. You have the possibility of impact. If you saw your parents succeed and then lose it all and get ridiculed, very common for you to draw the conclusion that, well, if I succeed, I'm just going to lose it all, just like my parents did. So I don't want that. No, thank you. If you have siblings and you were the one that got positive attention and your other siblings got negative attention, it's very common for you to draw the conclusion that good attention to me, good recognition to me means bad recognition for them. And I don't like them feeling bad. I don't like my brother getting negative attention. And you carry that program with you all through life. And so all of a sudden, when your company starts highlighting you, right, starts having you speak on stage, starts tagging you on social media, you could be like, oh man, I don't know why I don't feel good about this, but I just don't feel good. I just don't like all the attention. I don't like the recognition. And you think it's a money mindset issue, or you think it's a success issue. It's actually from your childhood, of when your siblings were told, why can't you be more like Heather? Why can't you be more like Johnny? Right? And that made you feel bad because you weren't the one saying it. And so you have to understand that. And one way to know this for sure is very simply, if you're not consistent. If you're not consistent, it is not because you're lazy. It's because you've drawn the wrong conclusion to success. Now, I can't say that to everybody, but I can say it to anyone watching this. Because if you're watching this, then it means you have something within you that is aspiring for more. It wants more. It wants to make more money, wants to change the world, wants to impact more people, wants to help more people. If you're watching this, if you see this as the replay or whatever, then it means, and you're not consistent, it means you're not lazy. It just means you've drawn the wrong conclusion to success. And that can be addressed. And so I want to get into some questions around this. Like, I specifically would love your questions around, if you're wanting to hit six figures in your business, hit me with the questions, or hit me with what you think is stopping you, and let me chime in. Before I get to questions, I do want to tell you that we have tonight's also. It's not only the last night to get the sweater. We got this cool sweatshirt, the gratitude sweatshirt, but it's also the last night to grab the 100K masterclass, and that's at hignengroup.com/masterclass, and it covers the tactics, but also the emotional side of hitting six figures, and it walks you through it. It's my wife and I, and we spent quite a few hours breaking it down for you. It's a very detailed training, and you can get it. It's on a deep discount right now, and that's at hignengroup.com/masterclass. And so if you'd like to get that, you certainly can, hignengroup.com/masterclass. But I want to see, what questions do you have around this stuff? I can tell you that hitting six figures is life-changing. And, a lot of people talk about seven figures, but honestly, if you get to 10, 12,000 a month, like, you can do most things. Like, there's not a lot you just, within reason, right? You're not buying Lambos, right? But there's a lot you can do. You hit six figures, there's a lot you can do, especially in this business. Because if you hit six figures as a salary in a job, you're probably under very high demand. You're probably having to work a lot of hours. You're probably having to, work weekends. You're probably having to, put in some time for sure. And so a lot of times the six-figure earner that's salaried is working their face off. You do it in this business, it's a little different because you got that residual income coming in. And that doesn't mean to, stop when you hit it. I would suggest not do that, but it is different. It's very different to hit six figures in network marketing versus a salary. And so what questions you got around this? I've thrown around a lot of stuff. I talked about, people seeking acceptance, approval, and agreement, right? How they get knocked out of the game. I talked about not being able to handle the hate, the trolls, the negative comments. Knocks them out of the game. Talked about people getting into management mode too soon. Knocks them out of the game. Actually sabotages themselves. I talked about if you're breaking the scale, right? Because network marketing is very scalable. If you're breaking that scale by putting a specific amount of personal time per rep in your team, regardless of their desire, regardless of the results, regardless of their work ethic, then you're going to start to dread growth, which will stop the growth. And then lastly, I talked about if you drew the wrong conclusion to success, that can knock you out of the game. Okay. So Linda asked, do you see people in late 60s, early 70s doing six figures for the first time? I have definitely seen that. But the way that you're asking that is, it means you're not sure. And if you ever want to speed up anything you want in your life, just start seeing yourself as having already achieved it. And I know that may sound funny, that may sound strange, but I'm going to talk about this concept in Rank Makers tomorrow morning. But the key for you to, if you want to speed things up, now you can always just deal with the material world, right? You can deal with your senses and look at, I want to change that bank account number and work, and you'll change it, right? Because material things do get impacted by action for sure. If you ever want to speed that process up, start seeing things before your senses. Start having a vision and see yourself as successful before the senses. So it's kind of like, I just read this in a book and I thought it was really clever. It's like, imagine looking in a mirror and you're going to see you, and then you're imagining yourself in a different outfit. And there's a delay, and eventually you see that outfit in the mirror, right? So it's you. If you ever want to speed things up, start to see things as you wish they were, having already been fulfilled, and you will absolutely speed things up. I've done this with several things. You can always get there the brute force way of just doing the work, being consistent. Takes longer. It'll get you there. But if you ever want to speed it up, start to see things before your senses actually show up. But yes, I mean, I had a lady in my team. She lived in Oahu, and it was a really cool name. I can't remember. Started with a CH. It wasn't like Chandra. It was like a longer name, but she was 78 years old, and she was recruiting 15, 20 people a month. And that company was a minimum $500 buy-in. And so she just didn't buy what anyone else told her, that, hey, you can't do that. And that's part of the deal, right? People told me I couldn't do it. And as you're going to buy into something, why not buy into you? Why not buy into what you can do? And let's say that although I'm aware of many late 60s, early 70s people that have become successful in network marketing, or successful, period, right? Outside of network marketing. But let's say that there's never been one ever in the history of mankind, ever. Nobody has ever hit six figures the first time in their 60s or 70s, which we know is false, right? Not true. But let's just say never. Why not take that baton? Why not prove all them wrong? Why not be the first? Now, the reality is you would not be the first, but why not? Why not you? You're on here. You're being serious. You could be watching Dances with the Stars or whatever's on Monday nights, but instead you're here. So why not you? And so Lacey says, I'm okay with the no's, but the trolls have been tough. Some haters are just mean. So let me help you with that, okay? Hurt people hurt, but let me be even more specific, right? So hurt people hurt, meaning only someone that's hurting is going to give you hate, is going to give you troll comments. No one that's super awesome and cool and fun to be around is ever going to hate on you. It's just not going to happen. No one more successful than you is going to hate on you. Just not going to happen. Just not the way it works. But hurt people hurt, but let me be more specific. Hurt people have often a very specific way they feel about themselves. And they are subconsciously trying to get other people to feel the same way they feel about themselves. So the hurt person that's dropping troll, hateful comments on you, all they're really trying to do is to get you to see as low as of yourself as they see of themselves. And so, I get all kinds of stuff. I got one the other day. It was like, fix your teeth. Had another guy hating on my eyebrows. I constantly have people say, that's not your house, dude. You're the landscaper, right? And these are people obviously that don't know me, don't know I've been doing this for a while, right? And when people post like how these things don't work and skeptic and pyramid and scheme, right? Often what I'll say is, hey, I get it. I used to think just like you, because I did. I used to be cynical and skeptical. Maybe you were too. And so I just don't, them. I'm too focused on who I can impact to let the barking dog distract me, to let the person that's trying to throw mud on me. I can't let that. I have to be as brave as the people who need me. And so what does that look like? If I have to be as brave as the people who need me, then I got to be willing to walk through fire. I got to be willing to scrape off the mud. I got to be willing to walk through the hateful comments and the trolls, right? So Felicia, I struggle with coming up with a DMO. Why would you think this is? So overthinking is a mask. It's a mask that, perfectionism, overthinking is a mask that isn't the real issue, but it accomplishes its purpose by keeping you nice and safe, because you've drawn the wrong conclusion to success. So when you're overthinking, because you know what a DMO is, reach out to X number of people a day, create a video a day, create a piece of content a day. There's your DMO, right? Read a chapter a day. There's a DMO that would make you successful. You've probably heard mine because I've seen you in my community before. So I went for 20 no's a day. You could go for 5. I did a video a day. You could do 3 a week. I did self-development every day. That one I would suggest you do every day, right? So it's kind of like, I struggle with knowing how to lose weight, consume fewer calories, work out more, and you're going to lose weight. But the reason we'll overthink that is because we're drawing the wrong conclusion to success, meaning we're drawing the wrong conclusion to being overweight or losing weight, right? If you were sexually abused, it's very, and I'm not talking to Felicia, I'm talking to everyone, right? But if you were sexually abused, it's very common to draw the conclusion that, well, if I gain weight, people won't find me attractive, so I won't be abused. I won't be in that situation again. I'm not making light of it, but it's very true. So overthinking and perfectionism is a safety mechanism. It's designed to keep you nice and safe. Not reach your potential, that's unsafe. That's scary. Nice and safe, nice and small, right? Nice and in the known. We know what this looks like. We don't know what that looks like. That's scary. I could get hurt. I could be betrayed. I could be lied to. I could be let down. I could be ridiculed. Nice and safe. So we'll overthink the simplest of things so that we can stay nice and safe, right? And that's not a conscious decision. That's in your subconscious. That's a program that was created based on a past observation. So you observed something that made you draw the conclusion that success is scary, that, if I do good here, then it's going to change who I want to be. And I don't want that. And so that's what that looks like. So Crystal, what do you recommend for people who they have some kind of block but can't figure out what it is? So in the masterclass, I actually have several, or I should say we have several coaching sessions live in the sessions that you get to see me walk through people, discover their blocks. And so that's one way, to learn. I've done quite a few, what we call laser coaching sessions here on this Facebook page. It might help as well. So Ellen, people fear the failure, but success is the scariest. How do you cope with the success when you never had it and didn't really want the money to be the reason people now like you and follow you, just wanting to live just with enough to live with, but still want to help others. So I can assure you that the money isn't the reason people now like and follow you, just so you're aware, right? People, in fact, that's why people will hate you. People will hate you because of your money. I mean, look at, Jeff Bezos is a great example. I mean, have you ever ordered anything off Amazon Prime? You ever gotten that benefit, right? He's made the majority of Earthlings, he's increased the comfort of most Earthlings' lives by having something like Amazon Prime, right? And if you're in a certain country where it's not overnight, right? But how many people hate on him? Elon, between his solar and electrical and, all these things that are benefiting the earth, right? Look at how much hate he gets. So it's not that no one's going to like and follow you because of the money. They'll hate on you for that, but they will like and follow you if you've changed their life, if you've gotten them, if you've helped them with a breakthrough, if you've helped impact them, they will follow you for that. And so in network marketing, it just so happens that the more people you impact, the more money you will make. And so that's kind of neat. Not all professions are like that. Some professions you get rich no matter how many people you actually help, like politicians, right? They tend to get wealthy no matter how bad their constituents do. Just look at the net worth of some of them and then look at their cities and the crime rate, right? So there's not all professions you can say the more people you help, that'll equate your money. Network marketing is one of those. It is one of those. Nice. Good job, Barbara. I like that statement. Yep, for sure, Norman. All right. Very cool. Yeah. Be as brave as the people that need you. That's so powerful. Nate, if you get 3 no's a day and you do that every day, you get 90 no's a month, you'll build an empire, man. You know how few people get 3 no's a day? Very few. I mean, there are very few people ever even reach out to 3 people a day, every day, 7 days a week. Very few people even do that. You went 3 no's a day. That means you're reaching out to anywhere from 6 to maybe 10 people a day to get those 3 no's. You'll build an empire. You won't build it as fast as someone, that's getting 20 no's a day, of course, but you will build an empire. Okay. Arvind, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but, we teach in the 100K masterclass, which is at hignengroup.com/masterclass. We actually teach you all the tactics of reaching out, following up, what scripts to follow. We talk about marketing. I even share, if I had to start right now with no brand, no email list, no following or anything like that, if I had to start right now, here's how I would get to 6 figures in network marketing. And I break down the exact plan that I would follow. It's the final section of the masterclass. And so we do teach you that. Tonight is the last night to get it. It's $27. So I think it's a pretty good return on your investment if you follow it and you implement what we say in there. You're going to start making more money in your team, in your company. You got to do the work. I'm like a personal trainer. I can tell you what weights to lift, but you got to lift them. But if you want that, you can get it at hignengroup.com/masterclass. And so I'm going to hop off here. Rank makers, pay attention to tomorrow morning. I got a very, very important training for you. And we're going to be doing that at 8:45 a.m. Eastern. And I will see you on there. So I hope this was helpful to you. Feel free to share if it was. Whether you get the masterclass or not, I hope you got some value from the content. And feel free to share with your team if you would like. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.